Well, welcome back, everyone. Yes, it is me. It is Integrating Real Perspective. And I am back now after having taken some time and contemplation as to what my next podcast is going to be for this film channel. So I decided that I'm going to do a marathon of movies dedicated to my personal number one favorite actor in the whole world, Will Smith. And yes, this is a very, very special actor to me that I've been pondering on doing a um, filmography review of his for about 2 months now, ever since I actually rewatched I, Robot, and currently that is the film that I have in my queue right now that I'm going to review for this channel. I already talked to a guy at my local Best Buy in Brookfield. Shout out to Jordan here. This is for you. Um, and I, Robot is his number one favorite film of all time. So I figured I definitely want to start with that movie. Yeah. I'm also giving a shout out to my soul sister, Anna Romero, down in Chicago. This is for you too. Since both her and I have a special love for this Renaissance actor, singer, writer, my goodness, I mean, he's got a lot of talents. Um, more than I can number right now off the top of my head. I remember at one point putting something up on Facebook where he was endorsing some special pill that's supposed to help to enhance brainwave activity. Something similar to like what you would see in Limitless or Lucy, one of those types of pills. It was way back in 2014. I can no longer find the article, unfortunately, when I look for it on, when that article comes up in my history on Facebook, for some reason I can't find that article now. But he endorses, anything that helps to increase intelligence and brain power. He actually happens to be a Scientologist himself too, and I read somewhere that he also experimented with ayahuasca. Um, he is very, very much invested in meditation as well. So, wonderful man all around, and just really, really sweet and good natured human being who just loves all of his fans. Um, yeah, I cannot, give cannot even fathom the love that I have for this man. Um, as a matter of fact, the reason why I am shouting out to Anna here for this particular filmography review is that Will Smith, now she, Anna introduced me to this video. There was a collaboration music video that he had done with Marc Anthony and Bad Bunny back in 2018. And the song is called Está Rico. I'm actually going to plug in the link for that because I think it's really fun to watch. He actually gets to sing um, the lyrics in Spanish, which I thought was really fantastic too. Yeah, it was just wow, mind blowing to watch. But obviously, this is going to be focused on his films only. This filmography review that I am planning ahead, um, because I happen to own more DVDs and Blu-rays of this guy than any other actor in history, along with Tom Cruise. He's probably right behind. Will Smith as far as like like my two top favorite actors of all time. As far as like films that I own, films that I have in my collection. And that really says something since I really only became a Will Smith fan, surprise, in my early 30s. So that was back in 2019. But there's a paradox there because I grew up with Will Smith. I'm a millennial, so I naturally grew up with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I've seen some of his popcorn flicks when I was a kid in the theaters. Independence Day, Enemy of the State, Wild Wild West, the first two Men in Black movies. I didn't see the third one until much, 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 much later, and that was in 2019 actually, which I will get to. I will get to that epiphany very, very shortly, as to how I became a Will Smith fan. Now, I figured I am totally not alone in my worship for Will Smith, which is why I'm looking to make my channel more mainstream and hopefully get more people leaving comments and starting conversation threads about him as I review his movies, and also to boost more revenue on my channel and hopefully monetize my content down the line. Um, since I'm saving up right now to go to Sedona, Arizona this summer to visit this Tantra school called ISTA, ISTA. It's a school I've been wanting to visit for the last 6 years, and it's important for me that I get out there however I can. I'm going to provide the links for that at the end of this video so that you know exactly what I'm trying to save up for. But getting back to the sole focus of this video, yeah, Will Smith is an actor who has really grown on me in ways that I did not expect. An actor that, while having such an incredible stature and prestige surrounding him, could never be pigeonholed. These are the types of actors that really stick with me for the long run. Now, for most of my generation, the face of, Will Smith has been the face of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But, as the years rolled by after the show ended, he also opened up new doors for himself and tried on different costumes that he grew into organically. He would play a cop who's investigating a murder involving robots, a misunderstood superhero who has a drinking problem, a con man well versed in the art of misdirection, a retired hitman being hunted down by an AI lookalike that was created by the company that the government agency that he used to work for to hunt him down and kill him because he's reached that age now where he's starting to go soft and wants to go into retirement as well. And as a matter of fact, he wrote the stories for some of his films too, like After Earth. Even started his own studio, which was Overbrook Entertainment, with James Lasseter, who's been a regular collaborator with Will, and has served as producer and writer for movies that he actually didn't star in, but it's got his signature on it, like the movie This Means War. Now, again, I was a moderate Will Smith fan as a kid, having seen Independence Day and the first two Men in Black movies as a kid and later as a teenager. I wasn't a crazy big fan of his work yet. I wasn't yet at the point, well, and I mean, of course, this was an evolutionary process for Will as well as myself. I mean, I grew up with the man and I did not realize until, the passage of time, um, would, over the course of time, um, there would be new sides of Will that would gradually come out and reveal themselves. But at the time when I was growing up, um, it was just Fresh Prince of Bel Air that he was best known for. Now, I wasn't really on board with a lot of those Fresh Prince of Bel Air fanatics out there, and I am well aware of the fact that there's a cult following out there for that show, and the fans still consider that to be his best work to date. I don't share that point of view, though. I attempted to binge watch that show and I couldn't even get through season one because of how one note Will was at the time in his acting. He still had that street swagger at the time since he was also deeply involved with his hip hop career as well. So I mean, I can understand how that was just a phase for him while he was working on breaking into the mainstream as an actor. And some of his action flicks, um, um, I've got some mixed feelings about. I didn't really care for Wild Wild West. It was too over the top, and the comedy antics were borderline stupid to me. I thought he was good in Independence Day, except that the corny 1950s B flick science fiction formula just made the film look so dated in retrospect. Will was the only good thing about that movie, and yet he didn't appear in the 2016 sequel, which is why I skipped out on that film altogether. Because it's like, no Will Smith, no way. And then as for Enemy of the State, I thought that was a neat outing for him. Edge of your seat Tony Scott flick with the usual fast-paced action fodder. But again, the storyline for that movie was rather out of date as well, too. Not one of those movies that I can really enjoy with, in 2024 as I might have enjoyed it back when it came out in 98. Okay, and then there was a decade and a half where I didn't even really pay attention to his work. It wasn't until 2019, and that was when a girl that I was dating at the time recommended Hancock. She said that I'd love that movie because of its exploration on the burdens of being half God and half human, as the film was about a superhero who was also a social outcast, with the title being a reference to the name of Smith's character. His name is Hancock in the film. And Hancock's story is about how he gets help from a social relations worker, played wonderfully by James Bateman, who wants to understand why Hancock is hated so much despite saving the world from evil. So how can he help Hancock develop more civil manners and lessen his reckless behavior for destroying city property, as well as people just hating his guts so much? And being that I was in the new age spiritual community at the time, this was, yeah, a movie that showed me the superhero in all of us that has the capacity to, connect with the gods or whatever you call it, like vertical source or your higher self or just um, energy, quantum energy. And that conversation between Will and Charlize Theron in the film was pretty fascinating about the way that people interpreted superheroes over the years. Back then they called them gods, and it only goes into it in a very, very surface level way, but I thought that was a really nice touch to the movie as well. I really wish that they would have made a sequel to that one. Shortly after Hancock was Gemini Man. That was another film that I picked up after that. I loved that one a lot too. If I was to pick a desert island film, it would have to be that one. the sentimentality of just looking at a Will Smith reflecting back on his younger self through this AI unit was just beautiful. It was very, very, sentimental, a real tearjerker to watch. So, um, it's also fascinating to me too that he's worked with a lot of some of my favorite directors. He worked with Alex Proyas on I, Robot. He worked with M. Night Shyamalan on After Earth and Ang Lee on Gemini Man. So I would actually say that those are my three favorite Will Smith films right there, just simply because of the fact that he's worked with um, some A-list directors in my category. Yeah. Um, so putting together a review of Will Smith's movies is really just a lot like putting together a menu. His filmography spans over 3 decades, covers many different genres, and reveals nuances of the man himself as he explores himself through different characters with different emotional tones. And as a matter of fact, since I happen to be sitting right here by my DVD collection, I'm going to show you all the movies that I plan on reviewing. So, I mean, here's two right here. Here's After Earth, here's Gemini Man, and then there's also Hitch. There's Hancock, Focus, I, Robot, Concussion. Um, and then I've got, I'm not going to dig these out here because there's just a huge pile of DVDs above and below them. But there's the Men in Black movies are right here. And then I've also got the Bad Boys movies as well. I'm going to be seeing the new Bad Boys movie next month as well. So look out for a review on Bad Boys Ride or Die. Yeah. Um, and yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I am just a Will Smith fanatic. I know there's a lot of people out there who are probably going to want me to review I Am Legend. I haven't watched that movie all the way through yet. I apologize. I will get to that one eventually. Um, and also Pursuit of Happiness. I've watched that one. No, I'm sorry. I watched a little bit of that one. Haven't finished that one up yet. Um, I have watched 7 Pounds, and I didn't like it. It was very depressing. So I am going to stay far away from that one. No. Um, Collateral Beauty was also a really, really good one too. Very overlooked movie. I feel that that's like Will's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which wouldn't be far off because it has Kate Winslet in there. Um, and I think Mark Ruffalo was in there too. I know it's got a lot of other actors that I love. That one was really intriguing to me because for like the first 5 minutes, Will is being Will, and then for like maybe the next hour, he hardly says a word because he's going through a grieving process. But anyways, I'm not going to spoil that one for right now. I might review that one. As you can see, I don't own it. Yeah, sorry. So anyways, yeah, so I hope you enjoy the upcoming Will Smith marathon, and I will see you on the other side of the reel. And thank you for loving and supporting me this whole time on my channel. And again, I will I will see you in the next film review. Ciao.